Oh, hi. In this video, I'm going to implement a sound detection system for NPCs in my game. I'm developing a game called Epoch Extinction. That's a top-down shooter where the main purpose is to kill lots of dinosaurs and survive. Um, Today, I have NPCs that can visually spot you and start tracking you, hunt you, or just like stupidly attack you. But if you come from behind to that NPCs, they will not be able to spot you, and that's because they don't detect any kind of sound. And in this video, I'm going to record how I'm going to do that. Let's create testing scene. Let's call it NPC hearing test. Save it. Let's add CSG box. Let's make it larger. All right. Now let's add player on the scene. Oops, got stuck. Well, okay. Also need to make it larger, I guess. Good. Let's move NPC a little bit, player a little bit up. Move it to the side. Let's add environment and camera. All right, it's dark right now because I have a special environment where I can have dynamic daytime. Let's make it more bright. And let's increase day cycle length so it just doesn't switch that fast. And updates, we don't really need it to happen that fast. Now let's find some NPC, put it on the scene, and rotate it away from the player. Okay, something like this. And also need to set up a navigation system. New navigation mesh. I'm gonna take setup from another level. This is also for tests. This one doesn't use navigation region, it uses custom system because I want to have different navigation mesh sizes. Let's copy it here. Let's bake it. Did it work? Nope, doesn't seem like it. Probably didn't. Oh, okay, it did. Bake. Geometry static colliders. Oh, okay, this one doesn't have collider. It's enabled. And I have different layers that I have to set for this thing to work properly. Okay, this should be fine. Now let's bake it, and now it works. Good. Now I can disable this. Oops, cannot disable this. I can disable it here, I suspect. Okay, good. Alright, now let's test the scene. And see if it works. Alright, you see that dinosaur cannot see me at all. But if I get into its side, it's gonna start chasing me. All right. What I want to do, what I really want to do, I want NPC to hear me when I'm coming from behind, and I want the sound to be louder depending on whether I'm walking or running. Right now, it cannot detect me at all, right? So the easiest way to do this is just to throw area 3D somewhere, and that area 3D will detect, well, it will be a sphere that represents range with which NPC can hear. And then if player is in that area, it can check whether player is running or standing or just walking, and that will determine whether it can detect it or not. But having area in every NPC probably not going to be very efficient, because it will have to query, like the complexity will depend on how many NPCs you have, and I want a single scene to have at least 15 to 20 visible NPCs, and in this case frame rate might drop, which is not good. If you have only one area 3D that can detect whether someone can hear, it's gonna be better. And for this, I'm just gonna do it inside of player, but I don't want it to be, I don't want this area to check collisions every frame. It's not really needed. I'd rather check it every half a second, let's say. And for that, I would need to use like lower level API. And I think I have it somewhere already. Oh yeah, this one. This one queries it. Let's just use this method. And let's add additional setup. I think this one can be moved out. Didn't see it here before. All right, I'm gonna add, I'm gonna move this to character setup subgroup. I'm gonna create new one. I'm gonna call it sound emission. This is something that player will emit. And here I will define range. Let's set it 7 by default. Also, I want to define collision mask so it detects only NPCs. And I already have constants for that. By default, I'm gonna select NPC. And also there must be something that allows me, oh yeah, this one, layers 3D physics. Cool. Oh yeah, also I want to define frequency with which it will try to detect NPCs around. And I will need some counter that counts past time. Mission. I'm gonna do this in physics process. Let's create a new method. And if it's elapsed more than frequency, then reset it. And also let's query for objects. Physics direct space state utils. Let's do this. I want to render the radius for debugging purposes. And I don't want to access native code from C# very frequently. So I am going to create a local variable. And let's have yellow color, I guess. Here we have position, sound emission frequency, sound collision mask. And I need some sort of constant here because it has to be just empty. I'm not sure if it will create objects, probably it shouldn't. In this particular case, C# must be smarter. Who knows? Collision object 3D pieces. Oh yeah, I also don't want it to collide with areas, but I don't want to break other code that already depends on this parameter to be set to true. So I'll just create a new method to have backwards compatibility, because I want to modify other code. And I'm gonna call it like this. All right. Yeah, the reason I have this one as a singleton because I don't want to create a new object. Well, it's a structure, is it? Nope, it's an object, it's not a structure. And if this is an object, that means that I'm gonna create more work for garbage collector, and at some point it will perform garbage collection and frame rate might drop. So I don't want to create unnecessary allocations inside of functions that are being invoked for processing. Oh, I'm just using singleton kind of pattern there. Now I need to process it. And for NPCs, I have special class is NPC. But I also want to print what is detected right now, just to test it out. Doesn't matter what I'm gonna type here. Okay. Let's see if it works now. All right. I'm supposed to see a sphere, and then I'm supposed to see some output in the console. Oops, seems to be very small. I don't think this is the right thing. On the mission radius 7. Ah, okay, I made a typo here. That's why. And also don't pass it properly here. Let's go back to editor. Oh, okay. So it is being detected, but I'm not moving and it's still being detected, right? I guess I have to make it smarter. Is well, first of all, I'm gonna reset this only if I'm walking. How do I detect walking? I have it somewhere. He's moving. Okay. It's called weirdly. He's moving. And does it include running? Yep. Okay. Now I somehow need to let NPC know that there is some sound emission going on and from who. For this, I'm gonna add a virtual method to my NPC class. And not 3D parameter will be the source of sound. And here I'll just gonna invoke it. Okay. Dinosaurs, they have a behavior. And behavior is C# interface that has like a bunch of different methods that are being invoked whenever business logic of NPC detects something. The base class itself doesn't invoke behavior. I have a different one called dinosaur NPC. I'll have to override it over here. And the behavior has a method called onEnemySpotted. So I'll just invoke this one for now. Dinosaur behavior enemy spotted source. All right, and it's supposed to start chasing player when player approaches from behind. Let's take a look. Oh, it does, but for some reason not exactly when it's inside of the yellow sphere range. Oh boy, it took a while for me to figure out. Unfortunately, I had to cut it because it took me like about an hour to figure out what's going on. And there was nothing wrong with the initial code. The problem there was that actually my character over here, the collision shape was disabled. What I just did, because I want to preserve performance, I just added the area over here, and it's just like a helper object for my query to actually find the dinosaur, and now it's going to work. It took a while to find it, and you guys don't want to see that. But yeah, everything was right from the beginning. And just my code wasn't correct. And now it works, as you can see. Boy, it took a while. Okay, now that it works, let's go to implementation details. Now, dinosaur can detect me because I kind of emit sound. However, I want different dinosaurs to have different hearing range. Let's call it that way. Oh, some dinosaurs might hear better, some dinosaurs might hear worse. And for that, I want it to be configurable. Oh, this parameter still remains the same. That's the minimal possible distance within which some dinosaur can hear sound. But I want them to have it configurable, and I have here this kind of configuration for each dinosaur. It's a resource, it's a Godot resource. So I will update it to include a special parameter. Dinosaur resource, NPC configuration. Let's just add it here. Hearing factor, let's call it. And it's going to be the range value. Don't remember how to define ranges. Let's find it for quick. Here we go, this one is good. So it's like a percentage with 1. If the hearing factor is 1, then the dinosaur will hear player as soon as that yellow sphere is within reach. But if it's 0, then dinosaur will never hear it. So the smaller the value, the closer player has to get to the dinosaur. A resource, dinosaur resource. Let's see. PC configuration, hearing factor. So let's calculate the distance, because it's going to depend on the distance. Let's take source, global position. I don't need the exact distance, because I can use this one. Runs faster, as you can see from the documentation, and the reason for that is because doing square root of a number, it's non-trivial computation. I'm going to use distance squared, and I'm going to multiply it by factor. Actually, not like this. I'm gonna multiply it by factor, but also I need additional parameter, which is original float sound radius. Yep, it's the sound radius. I'll need to add it. If distance So if distance between player and the source, and actually I'll need to raise it to the power of 2. If distance is less than the sound radius multiplied by hearing factor, then the enemy will be spotted. And I also need to add this parameter over here. And also update it here. All right. Now we can see whether this works still. Let's reduce it to the half. Okay. Yep, it works now. I want to have something like factor also be implemented on the player level. For example, sound emission factor. For example, if player is in crouch position, then the radius is supposed to reduce, right? And this factor will help me to regulate this parameter dynamically. And that's about it for this